Hey folks, today is Friday, December 1st, 2017. As usual, it's me, Jake Baldino, here to talk about some video game stuff that has been going on this week. And the first thing I want to talk about is this post that popped up on Reddit, on the Battlefront 2 Reddit of all places, one of the most active places right now. This was a post by a 19-year-old who went into detail describing his addiction to loot boxes and microtransactions in games. He used Battlefront 2 as the most recent example, but it went back to stuff like CSGO, and he said that he spent just around $10,000 on microtransactions. Now, it's easy to rip this guy apart completely until you read his actual post and he lays it out. He lays out his upbringing, his relationship with his mother, and how this actually developed into an addiction and how it caused problems with him and the people around him in his life. It's actually pretty unfortunate to read. It seems like his intention with posting this specifically to the Battlefront 2 Reddit was to get this noticed and to really show and ask for, like, hey, hello, developers, you know, younger players, kids who are playing this Star Wars game, which is for everyone, can fall into a similar trap. So please try and change something. And honestly, the post reads pretty crazy. It's really interesting. Whether or not it's real, I don't know. Can we see if it's real? I can't directly verify if this story is real, but whether it's real or not, it doesn't matter. It's well written, and it's a good way of articulating problems with this whole loot box thing that we've been talking about week after week now. I said it in a top 10 I recorded the other day, but I stand by this. Hopefully this harkens some change. Hopefully 2018 is a different year for games where we see things going back to the way they were. We don't know for sure, though. We just have to hope and see. But moving on to another intense story involving a younger person. We've talked about this in the past with Epic cracking down on cheaters in Fortnite, essentially taking some of these cheaters to court. This has become a big thing, and Epic has been doing this and actually pursuing copyright action and litigation against people cheating in their games, essentially to prove a point and to fight back against cheaters. But it seems like this is the first time where it could actually blow up in their face a little bit, because one of the more recent peoples that they have filed a suit against is actually a 14-year-old kid. And interestingly enough, the kid's mother actually released an official statement refuting a lot of this stuff and calling out Epic's bullshit. In her statement, she said that the company is trying to just sue a 14-year-old child, that she did not give parental consent for this kid to play the game, and also she stated, and this is where I'm not sure, she said that Epic Games has no proof that he actually cheated. And I'm pretty sure they do. But her actual statement, this is pretty interesting. The big line is, it's my belief that due to their lack of ability to curb cheat codes and others for modifying the game, they are using a 14-year-old child as a scapegoat to make an example of him. And that's kind of what they're doing. Honestly, Epic has kind of come off kind of like they're doing that when they started going after Fortnite cheaters. So I don't know.
Cheat codes?
Cheat codes, yeah. Well, she's a mom. She doesn't know.
I don't know. I mean, they're going off after thousands of cheaters, not just her 14-year-old kid.
That's a good point. Yeah, it's not just him
at all. No, if it was just him, then yeah, but he's just one of thousands.
Yeah, so he's not really a scapegoat, I guess. I'm curious to see what you guys think about this thing, because it is very much a gray area thing, so there probably could be some pretty good discussion in the comments, so I'll see you guys down there. But also, I wanted to point this out for some of you, if you missed this, the Chinese mobile version of PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, the official one, like from Tencent, they're making an actual PUBG game, got its first trailer. And of course, it's not really indicative completely of the gameplay. It does look like PUBG, but with a lot of crazier shit going on. So my question is, is regular vanilla PC PUBG gonna get that? Who knows for sure? The development of PUBG is very weird, but if you want to check out that trailer, it's linked in the description below, as well as everything else I talk about this week. But for those of you that were freaking out about the future of Deus Ex, there's little quotes here and there that should maybe make you feel better. It's from the CEO of Square Enix, so he could just be doing his whole marketing speak. But he essentially, in a longer interview, he came out at one point and refuted the rumors and the going on lately that because the last Deus Ex game wasn't a smash hit, they are sidelining it for the foreseeable future. He said, "We have never said anything about discontinuing that title, but for some reason, that's the rumor out there on the market. What I can say is that Eidos Montreal has always developed Deus Ex, and the issue is that we do not have limitless resources. The reason there isn't a Deus Ex right now is just a product of our development lineup because there are other titles we are working on." He also said it's a very important franchise for the publisher, and that's good to hear. Honestly, though, he's a CEO. He is just saying, hey, yeah, we're not very happy with the success of that game right now, but we do own it, so we don't want you to forget about it, even if we're not going to make one for the next 5 years. You know, it kind of just seems like he's saving face a little bit. I don't know for sure. The whole interview is very interesting because he also goes into the success or the perceived not success of Tomb Raider. It's interesting if you want to dive into the nitty-gritty of development and sales and stuff, so check it out. But if you're into reading that, on the subject of reading, every few episodes or so, I like to recommend long-form articles you should check out and read, because we talk about about gaming so much, you might as well be read up on it, right? This is a very interesting article from Gamasutra that interviews a bunch of developers and essentially breaks down some of their little scripting and coding tricks to get things to work in games that you wouldn't really expect. They're essentially little dirty tricks and hacks to make certain games work. And it's pretty interesting if you want a little bit of an insight into how games are made. Like I've been saying with everything, I probably sound like a broken record by now, but it's linked in the description below if you want to read it. But something I do want to talk about is Super Mario getting its own cereal. Yeah, it feels like the 90s, honestly. I don't know what is going on here. But yes, Mario is getting an actual cereal with his face on the box, that big old mug. And the best part is that the cereal box is actually going to have amiibo functionality. I cannot wait to test this bad boy out because I like stupid consumer bullshit like this. I can't help myself. So you bet your ass that we will be reporting back how the cereal actually tastes. I hope it doesn't taste like hats. And in a more tragic story, a young man was unfortunately shot to death in his home with the rest of his family while he was playing online with his friends. This 23-year-old guy named Cody was playing online when a gunman came into his mom's house in Kansas and shot both him and his mom. He was playing with friends in Texas and Canada, and they actually heard the gunshots, and then they tried to call his cell, and he didn't answer. There is potentially some foul play involved with someone in the house potentially selling prescription drugs or something like that, but it's still just a crazy story to be on the other end and hear someone get murdered. It kind of just makes you think. I don't know. But speaking of things that make you think, some people have been thinking very hard on Destiny 2 and how the loot and XP and all the engram stuff is laid out, and after digging and looking at some numbers, some eagle-eyed Reddit users have realized that there's like a little bit of a secret thing in place that throttles XP after you reach the level 20 cap to essentially influence you to use the Eververse and use microtransactions. That is what is implied by the data. It's a little more complicated and hard to explain, but I know a lot of you guys aren't Destiny fans, so I don't want to get into it too much, but it's set the Destiny community kind of into an uproar, and Bungie's been trying to change things. They've switched one thing off, but then they switched another thing on that pissed people off, and it's just a bad situation. It also falls at really bad timing because Curse of Osiris, the new expansion, is about to drop, and they were going to have like a whole stream for it, and they canned that because there is so much going on. But they have announced that they are rolling out a bunch of different little fixes and tweaks along with Curse of Osiris, so there's stuff dropping on the 5th, the 12th, and then in the new year in 2018. So I'm keeping my eye on it. I'm really curious to see how they actually handle it. It seems pretty like low-key shady and really just a thing for data nerds, but it's something you should be aware of. But speaking of things you should absolutely be aware of, I just wanted to include a link in the description below and just talk about net neutrality real quick, because it is once again a thing that is happening. If you're in the United States, this will affect you. December 15th, they are voting to essentially give more control to internet service providers. This has the potential to fundamentally change the way certain aspects of the internet work, and I think it could set a dangerous precedent, and it affects everybody. It's not as much of like a left and right or political issue. It just really seems like kind of a shitty situation for everyone. Now, I can't spend too much time going into it, especially because we have like kind of a no politics rule here, but all I ask is for you to be informed. Whether you're for it or against it, I would like for you to be against changing net neutrality. But I just ask you to stay informed. There's links below. There's places that you can sign up. You can send emails to the FCC. You can also contact local representatives and, you know, do the thing. Do the American politics thing as an American. It's something that is a growing concern, and honestly, a lot of you guys out there actually reached out to me and asked me to talk about it. So I think it is something worth bringing to light. So thank you guys for, you know, poking me a little bit. But now, of course, we got to do that console giveaway we do every single week. You know how it works. There's a link in the description below. You go there, you click it, you sign up, you enter once, then you're entered for good. And then every single week, we randomly choose one person to win a free console of their choice. That's a Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, or Xbox One. This week's winner is going to be this guy right here, or girl. We didn't pick it yet as I'm recording. Congratulations. Be sure to check your inbox, check your spam box, because Tom is going to be reaching out to you very soon to figure out how he can send you your console. But that is what is going on this week. A lot of weird, crazy news, not a lot of actual new game announcements or anything like that, but I do want to know what you're thinking on some of these aspects. This whole guy spending $10,000 on microtransactions. Do you think that's real? Either way, I think it's a very interesting story, and I think it's worth learning about. Also, that court case with Fortnite. Do you think that holds any ground in court? Do you think it's worth it for Epic? Do you think the mother should fight back? Or do you think all cheaters should just be executed? And are you going to eat that Mario cereal? I hope it tastes good. I don't know. Let's talk about anything. You guys probably know where to find me. Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Jake Baldino. Also on youtube.com/becausevideogames. Let's talk. But you know, coming around here, clicking the like button does really help us out a ton. We do appreciate it. And if you haven't subscribed yet, you should, because we put out stuff every single day. But as always, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time. Pizza's on me.